The Disturbing Art of A.I. That's the beauty of it. You can make anything. Thanks, Arisa Babadinko. War for Cyber Troops? No, I don't know if I played that. Nice. Good morph. Here's a tier 1 Emils. And the resub ethos.
It's Tuesday night.
Addicted to AI art generation, yeah.
Wildfires rage over West Coast California. CD Projekt Red announces DLC.
Nice.
And over in the furthest reaches of cyberspace, a musical artist named Supercomposite makes a discovery.
That you can AI generate music videos? Because that's a discovery I've made before as well.
With AI-driven art, made possible through inputting text prompts into machine learning systems like Stable Diffusion,
Yeah,
and Midjourney. And like anything, at first, everything seems to be alright. Animals, landscapes, trees, the human form, the potential of AI-driven art is endless. And so she decides to push the boundaries of what this system can do, and inputs the following.
We've known each other many years, but this is the first time you ever gave
and it revived Brando.
The last name of Marlon Brando. A prompt that
As you
will
said,
surely
faded.
test the absolute limits of the capability of artificial intelligence.
Not really.
Curiously, she enters a modifier, -1, also known as a negative prompt weight, which informs the AI that they're seeking a picture as conceptually far away from the prompt as possible. To be frank, it's an interesting thought experiment because it makes you wonder how exactly AI views the world and what it considers the opposite of everyday things to be. I mean, what do we consider the opposite of everyday things to be? If I asked you what the opposite of birds are, what would you say?
I mean, this is not really an opposite. Birds fly, so you choose like a land creature, I guess. The opposite of a bird would be like a dog. Oh, fish. Nice. Fish makes sense.
The minutes tick by without much concern, until, finally,
So is it the opposite of Marlon Brando?
innocuous, yet interesting that the opposite of Marlon Brando is perceived to be an abstract skyline. Written on it appears to be 2 words, Digita and Pentix, and in the background appears to be text on a white page. Curious, she ponders if the inverse of this photo would result in a picture of Marlon Brando.
No.
And so she inputs another
Absolutely
prompt
not.
and sends it off into the vast unknown.
AI art isn't capable of doing that yet. Obviously, it's not going to know what that skyline is that she inputted. Thanks a gift sub Patrick and resub Jim Bob. And the Prime Assault, Delusion, and Lesser. What if it does? I'll tell you right now it doesn't. 100% it doesn't. Those are pretty cool.
Before them were 4 images of a highly uncanny, older woman with severe rosacea on her cheeks. She bears prominent cheekbones,
I guess.
has dark-colored hair, and can be seen within a living room, in what appears to be a hospital, in a bathtub, and against a green wall with just one discernible word above her. L-O-A-B. Or lobe. Over the next few days, Super experiments with their creation, curious about why and how lobe exists. She eventually employs a method named AI image crossbreeding to combine one of Loeb's photos with a completely separate one that her friend created. However, instead of this combination resulting in Loeb's demise, or innocuous photos involving this tunnel, what comes to fruition is something a bit more grotesque.
Loeb Prime.
Through some kind of emergent statistical accident, something about this woman is adjacent to extremely gory and macabre imagery and the distribution of the AI's world knowledge. Since Loeb was found using negative prompt weights, her gestalt is made from a collection of traits that are equally far away from something, but her combined traits are still a cohesive concept for the AI, and almost all descendant images contain a recognizable Loeb. In nearly every image, Loeb is distinct and embodies the physical manifestation of the repulsive and uncanny. This AI is somehow creating images that perfectly encapsulates what terrifies us, wrapped up in a myriad of
Not really.
situations
I wouldn't
like
say
family
that.
portraits, loitering within an office building, looming over children like a reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
I mean, to be fair, you can just set all this up yourself. It happens anytime we do stable diffusion, any night. If you make it recognize a certain character, I think it's called no, I don't think it's prefabbing. I can't remember the word for it. But if you just identify the image for the AI, it'll constantly put it in different positions in different places if you want it to. Like if you just keep clicking dream, it'll just keep putting it in different ways in different locations. I imagine for all of these very eerie photos, it probably also had like garden ones somewhere that just didn't get pumped. I don't think there's anything malicious in the AI or some kind of ghost in the machine or some kind of horror element to it. It's just simply a matter of it keeps pumping these while also having the others as well that it'll go to. I think it's just like a creepypasta thing. I don't think it's serious or anything. It's still cute though. These are 5 gift subs, Jim Bob, 3 subs, Lamb, and Astro. I thought this video was going to be more into a dive on AI art and the disturbing potential of it as opposed to like a creepypasta thing. I'm not super interested in Loeb and all that. I'd be more interested in seeing like the potential of it. It's just not really my kind of swing on it. Maybe they talk about it more. I guess let me see. The creation of Loeb. Grandma's pictures. Looks like it's just going over creepy art. Which again, you can make forever. Endlessly. And you can give it all kinds of weird stories if you want. I just don't really see why you would. Thanks for resub, Sean. Finish it. It's not super interesting to me. It's just mainly like a creepypasta of like AI art Loeb. Because AI isn't capable of generating actual coherent words when it here, let me show you. It can't actually make real words. So if you have it do something like here, creepy grandmother portrait with text bubble words. Let's see. It just makes a bunch of gibberish. Damn, it didn't even give me the text bubble. It completely ignored that one. Okay, here. That's because I should have used a comma. Creepy grandmother portrait gothic dark disturbing comic speech. Let's see. Let's do 2. Let's bring this up just a little bit. There. There. See, it just can't do real words. So let's say I wanted to do a creepypasta with this. I could take this word, Yallist, and this lady could be Yallist if I was to make the AI identify this as Yallist and just generate forever off of it. I just don't see the point, though. Unless you just want to do, like, creepypasta farming. It's just not that. I just don't think it's that interesting. This is a very cool piece, though. I like this one on the left a lot. Triobe. Or lobe. Sure. Lobe. Nice. On the right, it looks like a metal album cover. It looks more like a restaurant sign. Like the Rainforest Cafe or something. But yeah, I don't know. This feels just like reaching's the wrong word because it's supposed to be like unnerving or whatever based on the AI art. And you can do that like if you want. Like here, let's make something like this. So let's go. Here, hold on. Let me go to the site real quick. Okay, let's try elderly woman. Macabre, grim, dark. What else? I don't want to make it too deep. You missed the point of the video? Well, what's the point of the video then, Nut? Explain it. The point just more seems like here's something that AI art made that's creepy, and here's a story about it. So we kept generating art. Thanks for your sub, Minox. Try the -1. That doesn't work on Stable Diffusion here. I think the point was to show what AI could do. Well, that's not what it's doing, though. This isn't showing what AI could do. This is showing what it does with lobe. After you've taught it that this, when it generated this, is lobe. So then it just made a lot of creepy things with lobe, that character that it identified. But it's something you can do with everything. So I don't really get the point of, again, apart from just making creepypastas, which is fine. I just don't find creepypastas all that interesting. Here, let's see what we get with this. Let me finish it. Elderly woman, macabre, grim, dark. Let's try church setting. You know, let's not make it too specific. Let's let it have a little leeway. Well, not quite the same. This one actually is kind of close, though, to the first generated images from Loeb. Yeah, you can just do that for everything all day, every day.
Loeb is distinct and embodies the physical manifestation of the repulsive and uncanny. This AI is somehow creating images that perfectly encapsulates what terrifies us.
It's not somehow doing that, it's all the prompt.
Like family portraits, loitering within an office building, looming over children like a reincarnation of Jesus Christ, and even standing by after what appears to be a murder by her own hand. But it doesn't stop there, as the correlation between Loeb and the idea of malformed, mutilated imagery was merely beginning to take root. The Angel Hallway plus Loeb also produced art with such copious gore that probably very few people want to see them, but here are two. I don't feel comfortable posting the most disturbing ones.
Damn, these are good.
They're borderline images of dismembered, screaming children.
What did they use? I
There's
forgot.
something moving
Was
to
this
me
one
about these grotesque
Mid-Journey?
scenes and
What
the
did they use?
desperation, panic, and sadness
I already
that they
forgot.
convey. Again, these are produced with other images as inputs and no text. They're the result of crossbreeding of images of Loeb with pictures of other things. The images that result from crossing Loeb with other images can in turn be
These are some
crossbred
fries.
with other images. The AI can latch onto the idea of
It was
Loeb
Dolly,
so
too.
well that she can persist through generations of this type of crossbreeding, even without using the original image. From here, their journey down the Loeb rabbit hole continues. As referenced, her persistence in existing within each resulting photo is striking, and even when they try to get rid of her, to distort her out of existence, she remains in immensely uncomfortable scenarios.
How did they try to get rid of her? As long as they're using Loeb in their prompt, it's going to be there. The AI now is identified Loeb as that one first core thing, so it can constantly use that in the generations. So unless they're just taking Loeb out, which they're not, they can't really get rid of it.
With a child clinging to the human form, locked in time as a clay statue, deformed by unknowable technology, lurking, watching from the dark, trapped within a Stephen Gamble canvas, painstakingly out of place,
Thanks, Resub Girthy.
abandoned as a lifeless child,
The art's great, though. AI art's so fucking good.
trapped in the deep blue, and frozen in eternal pain. I was ripping Loeb apart and putting her back together. She's an emergent island in a latent space that we don't know how to locate with text queries. But for the AI, Loeb was an equally strong point of convergence as a verbal concept.
What a tweet.
The big lesson for me here with Loeb is that image prompting can essentially be used as your custom parameter to question the AI's form of thought. You can produce original styles and characters that you literally discover. Negative prompting can help you find emergent accidents, much like Loeb, too.
Thanks to Prime Disc.
This is largely where her thread ends. She claims that she'll update it with further pictures of Loeb as they're created, and that's a promise that's held true. To this day, they're still adding to it, and this thread, in its entirety, serves as an interesting dive down a surreal, uncanny, and dreamlike rabbit hole regarding this undisclosed AI art generator and its bizarre affixation with this one specific face.
Well, the art
As we
gener...
can recall, the
The
original
AI
prompt
isn't
referenced
fixated
the
on it.
universe of Marlon Brando, and the resulting image was nothing like any human would logically expect it to be. It was an abstract skyline. So how did this come from this?
Well, for the same reason why if I type in any kind of nonsense on Dream Studio, it'll just give me something completely unrelated back. Here, let me type in... a member of my family. Who's someone that you guys wouldn't recognize? What about Uncle Todd? You know, I'll just do Uncle Todd. Oh, actually, how about this? Opposite of Uncle Todd. Fuck, it's good. Damn. Damn. That's pretty good. Alright, we'll do Uncle Todd -1. Even though it doesn't work on Stable Diffusion, I'll still do it anyway just to see. Because again, if you just give it nonsense, it'll give nonsense back. Wow. These are pretty good, actually. Let me give it a little more freedom, though. I think that's a good idea. I feel like this one's just lifted from Facebook. Like, they just took a picture from Facebook and, like, modified it slightly. Okay, we'll go deeper. Uncle Todd. Negative. I'm just gonna use like nonsense words here that don't really do anything. Negative. Sad. Vibrant. Moonlight. Let's see what we get. Fuck, these are cool. Completely unrelated to what I typed, of course, but pretty cool. Thanks a resub Peiko and Prime Pika. The resub Jabroni. Quick text message. Grandma's quite the photographer. Oh, it's a party now. AI art is so cool, man. I love AI art.
Why are AI creations so unsettling?
Because it can't do hands and it can't
What
do
is it
faces
about
half the
these
time.
images that causes this inexplicable dread?
I wouldn't
The
say it's
program I was
inexplicable
utilizing
dread.
to make this slideshow and throughout this entire video was Stable Diffusion.
Fuck yeah.
And in the process, I learned quite a few things about it. When you make your input too specific, you may happen upon exactly what you're looking for. The AI is, in a way, constrained by what you feed it. However, if you take away the specifics in your prompt and really allow it to spread its wings and create something for you, well, that's when things get interesting. Anomalies, much like Loeb, await, hidden away within the confines of something called latent space, or the medium in which AI recreates the features it's been fed. You may have seen other examples of this idea before, notably with a Twitter thread from June in which this person discovers what appears to be a demon after inputting a completely made-up word. Krungus, they called it, which is pretty creepy and is even something you can discover yourself. But it isn't just disturbing, off-putting creatures and faces that this system excels at.
Let me see if I can meet Krungus. I got a good feeling about Krungus. There he is. He seems to have undergone a bit of a transformation and became a frozen pizza brand, I think.
But it isn't just disturbing, off-putting creatures and faces that this system excels at. And the span of AI's weirdness isn't always as straightforward as entering a text prompt.
Oh, right, I still had the old CFG on. Yeah, let me get the real Krungus in here. There that bastard is. Him and his brother, Blogus.
That we know will give us something scary. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite examples of artificial strangeness dates back years. So let's pause and let's head back. In 2019, an anonymous programmer going by none other than the girl who talks to AI set out to create a simulation of the human brain by utilizing a system known as a generative adversarial network, or GAN for short.
Never heard of this. That
GANs
sounds cool.
essentially become trained through machine learning to take in millions of existing stimuli in order to recreate an idea. In this case, the system was tasked with creating a face, and after prowling through millions of existing photos, it spit out this one.
Alright, it's pretty good.
The programmer, however,
That is a face.
had a curious idea. Since the AI's entire worldview is constrained by the sum of its inputs, what would happen if it were to slowly forget the very thing it was trained for? And so,
That's an interesting idea.
As neurons visualize to the right, she shuts them off one by one until this face distorts into something completely unrecognizable. The parallels between synthetic deconstruction and afflictions of the human mind are clear, and this project serves as a curious looking glass into the realm of neuroscience and how we as individuals perceive life around us.
That is
The
interesting.
way that face slowly distorts into a faded memory leaving the remaining neurons scrambling to fill the void, leaves us with an end result that is haunting. And to this day, this remains as one of the most fascinating AI curiosities that I have ever seen.
Well, it shouldn't be super surprising, though. The human brain is much like a computer, just a very wet computer. So it's not, like, I personally am not surprised to see that an AI slowly being shut down like that distorts in the same way as a human brain. But it is interesting to see. I've never heard of this experiment before. That's pretty cool. He's a tier 1 Hewitt, and the resub Uncultured, and Kaine, and Mighty Morphin. And Zeus.
Loeb is an eerie case study. Someone that has successfully cemented herself in the online sphere. And while the reason behind her conception and why this AI somehow latched on to her oddly specific facial features and tied them to macabre, disturbing imagery is currently unclear. What is certain is that her persistence has left us with an interesting revelation. We know that AI knows how to create subjectively beautiful synthetic art through mere text prompts, generating some of the most striking examples of the sheer potential of modern technology. With that said, who's to say that it can't excel at the opposite?
Well, of course it can, and it already does.
The adoption and potential of synthetic art is merely beginning. And with the advent of Loeb freaking so many of us out, what else is hidden away within the vast abyss of AI? And how will this impact us?
Thanks to give sub Arcuda and the resub
When
Elegy.
we find them.
I don't care too much about the whole Loeb thing, but this experiment in the middle here using GAN I thought was very interesting. That was cool. But yeah, I mean, you can make creepypastas all night and day based on whatever you want from AI art generation. Because it's really good at making creepy shit.